Uh, I hope you guys have had a fantastic time so far. There's so much AI in the air, but I'm here to talk about slop. And we're gonna get into it and really specifically like how to fix it and how to make it better and how to reduce it for your organizations. So, hi, nice to meet you all. My name is Matthew Stein. I am the agent marketplace architect for Agent.ai. And what that means is that means I've seen it, right? I've approved almost 2,400 agents, and that doesn't even count all the ones that I have rejected. And all these agents, I have seen the absurdity of slop. I've seen more failed attempts than probably anyone on this call. I have swum through the muck so that you don't have to. And what I'm going to do today is we're going to talk about how you fix it. But before we get into the fixing of it, I want you to go ahead and sign up at Agent.ai. It's free to use. Also, at the end of this, I'm going to give you a code so that you're going to have free access to all of our like amazing pro tier level agents that are, going to be slop free. What is the cost of slop? What's the impact of it, as well as how to fix it? And I've got a nice 5-part plan that you're all going to get at the end of this. Now, we all know that generative AI is out there, and we are seeing so many more words, walls of text. And what exactly does generative AI do? Well, we know what LLMs are, right? They're large language models. It's statistical software, predicts the next word, and it's going to do with its job, right? It's going to write words, lots of words, too many words. And what does too many words get us? It gets us work slop. So Harvard Business Review put out a great definition here. Generated work content that masquerades as good work but lacks the substance to meaningfully advance a given task. Very official sounding. I like the not good stuff. Actually, some of these definitions are really coming out great. But we have this new system, and it produces outputs which make someone else do the hard work. And the fact is now words are cheap. AI dramatically reduced the cost of producing words. It did not lower the cost of understanding them or trusting or acting on them. And so what we've seen the burden shifted, right, from the creator to the receiver. Slop is not bad writing, it's misallocated effort. It's a tax on the reader, and it multiplies across everyone who has to scan it, interpret it, verify it, ask follow-ups. And that's why slop feels small individually, but has a massive impact when you look across a whole system. And slop is more than just too long. It's not just too many words. It's too many words and not enough meaning. And receiving it is really frustrating. I'm sure everyone out here has had to receive that stuff, right? And once you get it, once you get slop, you have two outcomes you can do with it, right? The first is we skip it, or too long didn't read, get rid of it, archive it, or you might have to deal with it anyway. And so sometimes you have no choice but to actually manage through and wade through this stuff. And we are spending so much time on it. And what we really need is good communication, because good communication minimizes the total cognitive load without, and not just minimizing the writing effort. It's the total cognitive load across an entire organization. All right. So let's look at the cost of this. Let's look at the impact. How is this affecting businesses today? Well, I've got a 2x2. There's a scale, right? So at the bottom, you'll see, or along the axis, you'll see that business impact goes hand in hand with loss of trust and credibility. Here's a scale of how bad it is. At the bottom, you got things like cold outreach emails, LinkedIn messages, stupid memos nobody wants to read. In the middle, you've got code slop, overloading product managers and code reviewers or campaign managers. And then at the top, the worst stuff is actively harmful, right? It includes incorrect information, critical hallucinations, maybe misdiagnoses, or fabricated or incorrect data results. That has a real problem. So, Microsoft and LinkedIn put out this 2024 Work Trends Index annual report. And in there, it talks about, 60% of people's time is spent in email, chat, and meetings. And 68% of people struggle with the pace and volume of work. I know I do. I bet a bunch of you do as well. And 46% of people are feeling burnt out. I want to know who those 54% that aren't. Well, another one over here, we've got, this one's from McKinsey report on the social economy. And people are spending 28 hours, knowledge workers, spending 28 hours of work on email and communications. A lot of times that time is spent searching for information or it's spent on collaboration. And what does this all start to cost us? Let's put a dollar value on the cost of work slop. Well, we've got a nice little formula, people times extra minutes spent per communication, number of comms per week times the loaded labor rate. That gets you like $1 per week value. But if you want to estimate how much it's costing an organization, or you've got that, and you can just think about it, simply put, a writer might save 10 minutes. But if 5 readers each lose 5 minutes wasted on that, that is a net loss of 15 minutes. So that's how this spreads, right? It's the burden on the reader. Now, this is affecting lots of different industries. Software development, here's a very specific example. This one's from Daniel Stenberg, and he runs the Curl project. Fun fact, I tried to research this one to, deeper to find the original link, and I used one of my favorite agents to ask 8 LLMs at the same time. I got back 5 bad links and only 2 good ones. Now, fortunately, I saved you the time and put this the footnote of one of the good ones here. Now, Daniel Stenberg started a bug bounty project in April of 2019. By October of 2024, they had paid out $84,000 for 477 bug reports. Then, in July of 2025, he posted about death by 1,000 slops. That's the link that I've got here. And he said that this project is effectively being DDoSed by AI-generated bug reports. About 20% of the submissions in 25 were AI slop, and at one point, the volume spiked to 8 times the usual rate. On January 2026, he gave up and shut down the bug bounty program. Another one where it affects science. Science and academic journals are overwhelmed. Now, that's nothing new, but the scope of it is. This Atlantic piece talked about Dan Quintana. He's a psychology professor at University of Oslo who reviews papers for various journals. He sat down to review one when he saw his name cited at the bottom of the article. Plausible title, paired with authors he had worked with in the past, but he never wrote that paper. Pure fabrication. And it invalidates the whole paper. You gotta wonder how much time was already spent on it by other readers. Now, this problem of being overloaded actually goes way back. Alex Cesar, who's a historian of science at Harvard, found letters to editors going back to the early 1800s complaining about getting unmanageable volumes of manuscripts. Today, there's more papers getting published than could ever be feasibly reproduced, and it's getting harder and harder to sort through them. Let's look at business. Science Direct published a paper in March 25 on exploring employees' experiences using email during work time and leisure time and the consequences for their subjective well-being. They found that email overload during work times and leisure times increases job stress and reduces job and life satisfaction. Having no email overload decreases job stress and improves life satisfaction. I think we all instinctively knew that, but it's interesting to see the details of it being published here. Another one, Microsoft had this one, and this paper broke down the 3 factors in email overload. It includes volume, that's the information overload, frequency, communication overload, and the inability to process, cognitive overload. Remember that. We're going to come back to that one as part of our solution system here. Here's another one on the loss of trust, another Science Direct one here. The title of this paper was The AI Authorship Effect: Understanding Authenticity, Moral Disgust, and Consumer Responses to AI-Generated Marketing Communications. Now, this looked at when emotional marketing communications are written by AI. This also has implications for support and sales communications. They noted a decrease in positive word of mouth and customer loyalty from emotional communications written by AI. Think about marketing comms trying to get people excited about something or apologies from support. They did not find an impact on transactional messages or purely informational communication. Now, from the study, the AI authorship effect is attenuated, it is reduced for factual instead of emotional messages. And it's also reduced when an AI only edits the communication. Interestingly, the effect is also reduced when the AI represents the brand by signing the emotional communication directly. This is a nice nod to transparency. And in a possible sign of overload AI comms, it's also reduced when consumers believe that most marketing communication is written by AI. All right, so what do we do? Well, first of all, where do we draw the line between slop and hallucinations? Do we need to draw a line between them? Hallucinations are they're made up artifacts from these LLMs. They are confidently wrong answers. And if we shift our thinking of slop from being too long or too many words to cognitively overloading the reader, then hallucinations are a part of slop. They require the reader to verify the rest of the message. Now, slop compounds, right? It doesn't just slow work down, it degrades the whole system. More messages, lower signal. More checking, less trust, more stress. So, how do we fix it? All right, let's get to the good stuff. Here's the 5-part framework that I've got. And, reader value first, answers first, details later. This is how you structure your communication, including a definition of done, forcing AI into a structure, and then finally installing quality gates. All right, let's get into this. Remember the slide from the beginning, right? This one is, we're going to focus right now on the last point there, forcing the reader to work more. How do we make it easier? How do we help reduce the cognitive load across the organization? Well, we start at the top with the reader value first. Every output must earn the reader's time. What's that mean? Okay, this is the simplest slop killer, right? So if you're the reader, what is the decision or outcome that if you're the writer, what's the decision or outcome you're conveying to the reader? What does the receiver need from the sender? And what is the minimum of context of additional information that the sender needs to give the reader? Solving for that minimum amount of context, right? Point 2, answer first, details later. And this one's pretty straightforward. Most people read top down and under time pressure. Most emails are scanned for less than 8 seconds, if they even bother to open them at all. If the answer isn't immediately visible, then the reader may not find it. So start with the summary, follow that with the decision or ask that the sender has of the receiver, and then put all of your additional in the information below that. Think of it as like an appendix at the end. People scan emails, so help them do that efficiently. Putting this into effect, you can make a difference with just those 2 points. Create a markdown file with those 2 principles and add it into your projects, your Gemini gems, kind of like this if you're using Claude. And I have a file, this markdown file that I'll be sending out after this as a follow-up here. All right, next is adding in a definition of done. And I really like this. Done means actionable without a meeting. So this, if you're talking about like this meeting could have been an email, well, here's an email that doesn't require a meeting. So here's what I think of as a definition of done checklist. So it's not written. Done doesn't mean written. You have to treat communication as a deliverable. Done means actionable without a meeting. And the good thing is, if you're using AI to write your communications or at least draft them, add this checklist right into your prompt, right? We lead with that clear ask or decision. You give specific names, numbers, and dates. This is kind of like well-formed goals. You can include the risks are unknown. So what is it that we are not yet? Acceptance criteria. What is it that we do not yet have to make these final? Who's the owner? Give us your DRI. And make sure it all fits on one screen so that people aren't being forced to scroll. I've asked AI for lots of one-pagers, and the number of times it comes back with 3, 4, 5 pages, I don't think it understands what a one-pager is supposed to mean. All right. So the next one is hard limits beat good intentions. AI really needs constraints, right? So you got to force AI into the structure. It will go off the rails if you allow it. So you give it a hard template to fit its response into. And don't let the AI get too clever. Templates are kindness. And so what does a good structure look like? Let's take a look and see what good looks like. Is it too early to have a drink? I'm not sure if it's too early to have a drink, but One time I was out with my team at a restaurant and we decided we wanted to have drinks after. And this was in New York City. So I built an agent while we were at the table trying to decide where to go. While I was building this, I gave the prompt all kinds of taste, how I like to pick a cocktail bar. And the output from this agent gives you 10 bars, their addresses, how far away it is measured in minutes to walk, and a description plus one or two reasons why you should go there. Short and sweet. Why does it always give me that? Because I gave it a template, right? This is what it looks like on the inside. I said, this is how I want you to give me the output. Return your output in Markdown, the bar's name, address, distance from the original address, 1 to 2 sentence, and a why you should go there with 1 or 2 reasons. And AI is pretty good at following those rules as long as you give them. So let's apply this to some sales conversations, right? Templates, remember, templates are a kindness for the readers. And this is pre-written to have a friendly tone. It includes a token for whatever casual conversation they had as an icebreaker to maintain credibility. It hits the top pain points, and these could be extracted from a call transcript or structured CRM data, or, if you're built on Agent.ai, the user's profile context. It reminds them about the follow-up call they already rescheduled, and it's really great for tight communications. Your prospects will thank you, and maybe even your salespeople too. So I keep saying that templates are kindness because, kindness is the new punk rock. He whispers, I'm still punk rock while delivering a corporate speech with a slide deck. All right, number 5, quality gates. These are great. Everyone's heard of human in the loop checks. How do you implement these? So I have a very simple formula where it's draft, verify, send. But you do have to tell the human what quality looks like. Give them the one thing that they are supposed to start with and look for in these. And I also like to build this into an agent, so I've developed a Slop scorecard. Right? All right, this is a take home. I'm going to send it to you as a follow-up. You can also grab a screenshot and I'll email this along with the deck and all the other things that I promised here. But you can set up an agent to score communications. Paste in the text, have the agent rescore it, and return your score. In this case, 8 criteria, score 0 for missing, 1 for partial, 2 for complete. 16 is your perfect score. Fail anything under a 6 or really wherever you want to set the bar. And fun thing, you can, when you receive cold emails that reek of AI, run them through this scorecard agent and then send it back to the sender and say, if you want to talk to me, go improve your outputs, your Slop scores. So how do you work these into your go-to-market machines? Well, in your discovery, when you're doing your discovery, you're looking for ideal places to work in AI agents to help with specific tasks. And once you've identified all the best places for them, you can apply those 5 principles to reduce sloppy output. Keep the go-to-market machine running clean and smooth. The good thing is you don't have to build everything from scratch. We've got a whole team of agents already fine-tuned, ready to deploy. And we're giving each of you 3 months free access. So use them for your clients, use them for yourselves, use them for your grandmother, whoever. Dig in. And you can even call these agents from within your other agents. So you can, use these as much as you want. Here, go ahead and grab another screenshot, save this one, use it, check out those agents. But remember, good output minimizes total thinking in your organization. That's the bar. Not eloquence, not length or word count, not polish or style. This is the main point I want you to take away today. Now, I'm a marketer at heart, so I have a call to action for you. Quality is up to you. You are the right people in the right place with the right skills to make a difference in today's AI-powered crazy world. You have the power. So thank you very much.